welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're doing a recap of Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 9, Three Little Words. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. If you like the video, smash that like button, and also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below because I like to engage with my viewers and subscribers. So without further ado, let's jump into this video. So the first person we are going to start with is Haley and Jacob. And this is where we start out by seeing Haley meeting up with some friends to update them on some of the developments that's going on in her marriage. She's currently struggling with physical attraction when it comes to Jacob. And I gotta say, I am a chocolate covered strawberry lover. Those things look really, really good. So it made me even think I need to go and find me some. But anywho, so yeah, she is definitely struggling with her her physical attraction when it comes to Jacob. And they did give us some previous clips of what that's about. And, you know, it's interesting. I mean, she says that her connection is not because of the physical, it's because of his personality that's not attractive. And of course, she brought up the whole thing that happened in Vegas, which is what this scene is about, with them coming back from Vegas, talking about all of this. You know, I think he jumped to conclusions because I don't know if you guys saw Unfiltered, the episode after that one. She broke that down where it was something where the girls, you know, were going to do some things, and the guys, the other husbands, just tagged along. So this wasn't something nefarious that, you know, she was planning. But, you know, the girls are definitely trying to get her to look at the fact on whether she's just commitment phobe or whether she's just truly not attracted to him. I mean, on the physical aspect, he's not a bad looking guy, but, you know, to her, it's just something about his personality that's a huge turnoff. We really haven't seen a lot of that, except the fact that he's really into the quirkiness of the 1980s and the way his house is and the way his clothes are, you know. So I'm wondering why that's getting on her so much. And I mean, she even make an attempt, as we see now, to bring Jacob and his fashion style into the current era. Haley decides to buy Jacob some new clothes. And I mean, although he's grateful, he still, you know, really doesn't have his wife attraction, you know. And, you know, he doesn't think that she's willing to put in the same amount of effort, you know. And I'm glad he was very appreciative of the clothes. Actually, those tops that and that shirt, the button-up shirt that she bought him, it actually didn't look too bad on him. You know, let me know what you guys think. But, you know, I mean, he could have really shut down and says, I like my style the way it is. But she, you know, she gave him the stuff. He looked at it. He was very appreciative and grateful. He tried some of the stuff on, and he was happy that, you know, she thought of him that way. Now, some people might be thinking, you know, why is she trying to change him? But, you know, the thing is that he's open to it, you know, and those shirts actually look pretty nice on him. So hopefully he decided to keep them and wear them. He looks like he feels pretty comfortable in them. You know, he doesn't act awkward or anything in it, but, you know, I don't know, these two, he seems like he really wants this to work. He's been giving her compliments. He's been trying. The wall is up when it comes to Haley. Haley is not willing to let her guard down. She's being very, very stagnant when it comes to dealing with Jacob. And of course, you know, on the flip side, another person, they can only take so much of that, you know, and figuring out what we're going to do. And she even go and decide to hang out with Paige for a minute. And they joked about the fact that the experts should have matched the two of them together. They were about, you know, together talking about their husbands. but they definitely is just not a match here when it comes to her. He's trying, in my opinion. So, Jacob plans a pool party at his house for the couples. And, of course, they just act like friends. That's all this is. But they group together when the rest of the couples show up. And, they get to talk, especially the girls, they get to talk about the status of their relationship. And this is where we see Haley saying that she and Jacob have a ways to go before they become closer. And, the girls in the group, they can pick that up. They're picking up that same energy. So we'll definitely have to see the direction. I don't see this happening, and it's mainly because of her walls. So let's move into Chris and Paige. And this is where we see Chris's friend, Pastor White, meets with Paige to discuss the recent breakdown of their marriage. It seems as if this, the pastor is trying to spill a little bit of tea or something on Chris, but I found that meeting interesting because most of the times, even like with Pastor Cal, he meets with both of the couples. I mean, he could have very well intentions, but it was unusual that, he would just meet with Paige behind Chris's back. I would think that, he would offer counsel to them together. But, he's definitely seemed to be trying to reveal some information, gauging her interest on whether she wants to continue the marriage and everything. But I just found that, like I said, even Pastor Cal decides to, talk to both couples when he does the counseling. So after everything that happened last week with him, her, and Mercedes, Chris invites Paige to meet up. And when he got there, he confronted her about meeting with the pastor. He says that he's pretty much done with Pastor White in the confessional. Paige tried to be polite, but, it's clear that he's not happy with how everything went down. Of course, we see her calling him out, and he said he hadn't made any new revelations since they last met. And it was just an interesting conversation. I've seen a lot of things online, including, what Chris had to say in regards to Pastor White. I also seen some things posted by Mercedes' mom about some of the things that Pastor White said in this particular episode. I mean, she called it out as lies. So it's a lot going on with the couples, what we see, what we don't see. But we do see Paige pick up her bag and leave. It was just pretty interesting. Let me know what you guys think. A lot of people see this as game plan. I see it as a lot of production edits and things like that. But I honestly, I know he was talking about some things when it comes to everything that's going on in his life. And of course, he's tired of everything that's going on with the crazy turn of events. And of course, Paige is listening, but it seems like she's not feeling it at this moment, because she said, why did we meet in the first place? She gets up again to walk away. The producers was pretty much trying to gauge, or give her advice on maybe, leaving the process and things like that. And, pretty much asking her, what are you going to do at this point? And it was interesting to watch, because they pretty much gave the advice saying, just say I'm done and keep moving. But she decided against it. And of course, she resumes her conversation with Chris. He's talking about how, he's afraid of making the wrong decision. Chris asks for a reset. We see, of course, Paige happily accepts. And it's an interesting scenario. Obviously, she's definitely interested in him, and wants to continue to fight for her marriage with him. With what he has going on, yeah, it's definitely a messy situation, and a lot to deal with. I know from the viewer's perspective, it's a lot to deal with from their perspective. I mean, we have never seen something like this in the history of the show. So, I mean, it definitely has a lot of people talking, but as I always state, I watch the show for entertainment purposes. I talk to you guys. I let you guys talk about it. But this is where we are. There's again a lot of information that has been out there with regard of stuff going on with the pastor, with Chris, conversations with Paige. There was a lot. So go over there and check some of those things out. But they agreed to a reset, so we'll see what happens. So next we have Virginia and Erik. So they decided to have a little date of their own playing golf. However, it looks like neither one of them knows how to play golf. But hey, that's what makes it fun. I mean, you get out there, you spend some time, you're acting silly, you're laughing, you're having a good time, and you can't hit the ball that's in front of you. But they also are able to, get some conversation in. This is where they talk about fear of abandonment, especially coming from Virginia, which of course causes her to push people away. And that's of course due to the stuff that she was going through during her upbringing. And, the thing is that he works a lot. And that was the other issue that came up in this conversation, because she had just came back in town, I think from a wedding we saw in episode 8. He just got back as well from his trip. And, Erik is overbearing sometimes, it seems. But in this particular scene, Erik surprises Virginia with dinner and music. We see that he actually admits that he is in love with her. She tells him, "I love you too." Now, I think he was a little nervous. So some people might think it was a little awkward, but I think he's nervous. This is his first time telling her that. So, I'm curious to see about these two. They look like they're very happy, but there's some things that they definitely have to work on. So, Briana and Vincent. Briana and Vincent, Briana definitely knows she's in love when she no longer looks for flaws in a person and truly accept them. And this is the conversation that they had. And of course, Vincent agrees and also think that comes with vulnerability. And when he tells her that he thinks that they would start saying "I love you" to each other soon, Briana admits that she already loves him. And her admission is, that Vincent also returns to sentiment. So he says that, I love you too. And, I'm hoping for this couple. Look like they're definitely growing in their relationship. We actually had 2 couples in episode 9 that actually said those 3 little words, which was "I love you." And then even Vincent decided to help Briana learn Spanish by giving her 4 words of the day. I thought that was cute, and that, brings her into his culture and into his life, and she's definitely open to it, which is cool. Another cute thing that he did was he surprised her with a bicycle. And the reason that he came up with the bicycle is because he remembered, and that's always a great thing, he remembered that Briana, in their conversation about bicycling, she also wanted to do it as well. So he remembered that and decided to buy her a bike. So I thought that was pretty cool, and especially when a guy remembers those little things. And we'll see that in another couple that I'm going to talk about in a little bit, that paying attention to those little things is definitely a huge thing, because it lets the other person know that you're listening. And it just doesn't blow over when you put it out there. And so I like that about the fact that, Vincent was able to do that. So, coupling with that, teaching, her Spanish and the bike, I thought that was really, really cool. Let me know what you think. So then they decide to go and take, I think, salsa dancing lessons. They took a salsa class, and he's definitely not comfortable with it. He likes to dance, and if there was any other dance, he was definitely open to it, especially in his culture. But he wasn't feeling this, and he got in his feelings, and he was not happy about it. And of course, Briana is watching him, and she's like, oh boy. So we want to see how he deals with his sensitivity as the season go on. So last but not least, we got Clara and Ryan, and they do a crafts class, and they talk about love. They discuss that, they struggle with what that means to them. Ryan thinks patience is love, while Clara thinks acts of service showcases it. My question is, what are their love languages? Because they need to figure that out, because if he has a different love language than hers, then they're going to get it wrong if they don't know which love language to work through the other person. So they definitely need to figure that out. But Clara definitely feels that, she's been patient toward her husband to the point of putting his needs ahead of hers. Ryan is definitely a person that you can tell he is not comfortable with. I don't know if I want to say being vulnerable. He's trying, but it is at a slower pace than where Clara is. Clara is the type of person that wants to let her partner know exactly how she feels and where she's coming from. And that conversation even went a little bit deeper when they received, I think it was like a little assignment to talk about what love means. And you can tell by Ryan's face when one of the questions was, how do you express it? He was so confused. His look was like, okay, I don't know how to answer that, because he has really never been in the space where he had to actually feel that type of deep love and express it to somebody. Because, as we all know from the beginning of the season, he never has expressed that to anyone. So for him, of course, Clara is looking like, okay, hopefully you don't explode trying to compute all of that. But, he's definitely at a standstill from what we've seen. I've seen him differently in some shape or form on Unfiltered. And he said even on Unfiltered, he was definitely able to get to that point. But it just seemed like, from what we're seeing, it's a different thing. So he surprises Clara on a date with her favorite food, which is donuts. And I'm telling you, them donuts gotta look like they're really sweet. But the thing is with Ryan, he's a very healthy person. And, he's into working out, eating vegetables, and, things like that. And Clara appreciates him, being able to go down a sugary road with her while eating these donuts. And Ryan begins to give her a dissertation about what drives him in life. He's definitely annoyed that Clara doesn't seem interested. And she's saying pretty much in her own words, I'm just trying to enjoy my donuts. Clara from what we know, they haven't consummated the marriage. She said that all of this sounds like a self-help motivational speech. And, I was not happy about that one, because he really took the effort to do something that she really likes to do, especially in spite of his healthy, lifestyle. And this is where she went. So clearly he was annoyed, and I can totally understand that. All right, so that's the end of episode 9 recap for this week. If you want to be shouted out, drop a comment down below. I will shout you out. So let's do this post notification, which goes to Derek Johnson. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel, and I really appreciate it. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.